Hello again, everybody. Sci-Fi Guy 86 here again. We are here on Sci-Fi Guy's Minecraft channel, and we are on my Let's Build. This is, I believe, episode 19. I may be incorrect on that. I'm not sure. I forgot to look before I started the episode, but forgive me if I'm incorrect. Anyways, it's another episode of my Let's Build. In the last episode, what we had done is started this roof. I went ahead and finished the quarter part of the roof, as well as the little extension bits over here, so you can kind of see what's going on. If you can envision all four sides of that having, or all four sides of the ballroom having that, and then in the center here, I've left this quarter of the center area open because I plan to do a dome in there. Probably have like a gold trim, or maybe just a stone trim, and then I'm going to have the dome bit in there, made out of glass, and that'll be kind of poking up, and it'll probably have some more. I don't know. I might do it out of stained glass. We'll see. Right now, what I wanted to do was come in here and not only light the place up a little bit, but I also wanted to add in some decorations on these upper parts of these pillars. So let's see if we can get that taken care of real quick. Now, something that I am trying to keep in mind is that I don't want to bore you guys too much on these episodes, or at least that's the reason that I'm doing a lot off camera in this Let's Build. I don't want you guys to see too much repetitive stuff. I want you to actually be entertained by what you're watching. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead and take care of this pillar. First off, I need to pull out building blocks. I'm going to need some quartz slabs, and I'm going to need some pillar quartz blocks, and I'm going to need some regular quartz blocks. Oops, there we go. Alright, so what I'm thinking is that pretty much the same thing that's down there will be up here, except the one difference is that the base level of the slabs will be right here. Okay, so that means that there's going to be kind of like an extension going on top of this. So I'm going to have a regular quartz block there, and then right here I'm going to go ahead and have the pillar blocks start. Okay, so it gives it kind of like a nice little outline effect. Nice little base for the pillar to attach to, you know, if that makes sense. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and take our little quartz stairs, put them upside down, just like so, and then I want to add some more torches to this thing. So let's go ahead and finish the last stair, and grab my torch, put it on the top part of the pillar. That will pretty much light it up. You don't really need more than this set of torches and that set of torches, but I like to make sure that there's plenty of light, so I like to add that set of torches as well as this set of torches up here. Just because I like to add extra light. I think extra light, especially when you're trying to make a big build like this, it only helps to make it pop. It makes it look finished, you know. Plus, if you're ever in this map in survival, it'll keep the monsters from spawning. Okay. Or at least the evil mobs from spawning. Alright, so that is done. Now, at this point, what I want to work on, I wanted to say too, I'm probably going to do more of these when I do this roof. I'll probably go ahead and finish the rest of these. I just wanted to show you what I was going to do with that. What I want to do now is this courtyard over here. Now, what I'm thinking for the courtyard is that I want some kind of fancy fountain, so I'm probably going to go ahead and build the fancy fountain first. And I'm thinking the fancy fountain should probably be made out of quartz, because it'll kind of tie in the quartz blocks in with the floor as well as the pillars of the ballroom. So it'll kind of tie in the courtyard to the ballroom. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out all the way, because I'm not really sure how wide this is, so we're going to go ahead and count. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go ahead and count from over here, see how far I can go. Okay, so right here, 6, so one more, 7. Alright, so our center block is right there in the center somewhere, so I'm going to go ahead and add another one right there, another one right there, another one right there, another one right there. Our center block is this one, as well as this one. So what I'm probably going to do is choose one of those two, and honestly I'm probably going to make it this one as my center block of the courtyard, because the way that the ballroom is rounded out and kind of sticking out into the courtyard actually kind of doesn't really feel like that's the center. That actually feels more like the center. So, okay. That's what we're going to go with. Now, as far as the fountain goes, there's a lot of different fountains you can do. Honestly, it's all a matter of taste, really. And right now, all I'm going to do is build a very basic fountain. But I do want multiple streams, so I'm going to make sure that I have that as a part of it. Something else I want is I want the bottom of it to be lit up with our redstone lamps. Okay. So I want to make sure that I've got redstone lamps all the way across the bottom of the fountain. Just like so. Okay. And then underneath that, I'm going to have to place a layer of blocks one away so that I can... Oops. Well, I guess it doesn't matter that I'm using quartz blocks. But... Excuse me. I'm doing this so that I can put torches on the bottom here, and it'll light up all the redstone lamps. It's really simple. Not a very difficult design at all. And you can go more and more complex with fountains. That's something that people actually focus on is just fountain design. And you can get really good if you focus on one thing at a time like that. And what I did is I focused on pretty much one type of thing at a time, and then once I felt pretty good about where I stood with that, like, for instance, I did a medieval building until I liked it, and then I, kept building those until I liked them even more, and then I kept varying the formula until, I could come up with a bunch of different variations of it. And then you could do the same thing with redstone. You could do the same thing with modern builds. You can do the same thing with science builds, like space builds and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of keep playing it with the idea that you have until you have something that's absolutely stunning. And if you do that, it'd be worth it. It'll be absolutely worth it, and everybody will be wowed. So it's certainly worth it. Okay, so I'm just doing this chiseled quartz block here on the outside as a nice little detail for the fountain, but something that I'm going to do is actually kind of cover it up a little bit so it has kind of like a trim or something by taking these little quartz slabs and going all the way across the top. And honestly, guys, I have never really focused too much on fountains. I don't have like a standard formula for fountains. I do have a really simple one that I'll use a lot on the interior decorations and stuff if I want a really basic one that's like even smaller than this. But I'm trying to build something that's a little fancier for you guys, just more on the spot, more or less, just because, well, it's the Let's Build, and I like to experiment while I build, and that's what I'm trying to show you guys, is just, it's okay to experiment a little bit. It's okay to play with the ideas that you have, because the more you play with them, the better they get. The better you get at building them, too. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and extend all the way around this thing, just like so, and it gives that very basic like trim there effect. It's, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I just like the way that looks, like that ground looks with that little bit of trim on the bottom that's fancy, and then on top it's nice and flat, so it's like a seat there. Okay, well anyway, up top here, something that I want to do is have water separating into several streams and pouring down into this thing. Now in order to do that, what you have to have first off is a water bucket. So let me grab that. There we go. Now, see how it's falling on all four sides like that? Okay. Something you can do to change where the water is going is just stick out a block like so. See how it's now falling down that way? And then stick out a block like so. Sticks out that way. Stick out a block like so. It sticks out that way. Stick out a block like so. Sticks out that way. Now, I want this to be 4 separate streams. So in order to do that, this gets a little more complicated. Now, what I'm going to do is I need to replace this corner piece with a couple blocks. So I'm going to do it very fast, just like so. And it separates out that stream. Okay. Oops. Did not mean to do that. Well, that's a very quick way of fixing that, is just placing a block over your source and replacing your source and it'll naturally flow where you've got it. Okay, so I'm just going to go and replace the source. Okay, sorry about that, guys. The recording stopped. I had to start a new one, so I did. We are now trying to finish up this fountain real quick before we... and it is just not cooperating with me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually just delete this whole thing. Not the whole thing, but the water, so that I can continue with the design that I'm trying to do here. So you can see the effect that is desired. Alright, so now let's go ahead and replace the water. It'll fall down that stream and then directly off the sides. Okay, see that? Now, we want this to be kind of like fancy and a little less plain, this little stand for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a block upside down right there, and right side up right there, upside down right there, and right side up right there. Okay? Makes it a little more fancy, a little less plain. Nothing too crazy, but it's enough that it makes it look, like I said, more of a statue and a little less of a plain fountain. So, and because it's a lot of quartz blocks in here, it actually ties in the ballroom designs a lot more. So there we go. We've got our fountain. Okay, very simple, not very elegant fountain. What I'm actually going to do is delete that block and that block to give it more of a designed feel and less of a squared feel on top there. Okay, and that looks much better. I like that. Okay, so that is pretty much what we're going to do. I'm thinking about... I don't think... Well, maybe. I'm contemplating doing something along the lines of that on all corners. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I like it. I think I'd rather do it with the chisel block. Let's see what that looks like. Alright, that's not too bad. That looks pretty grand. I like that. Something else I like to do is to actually extend it a little bit more, because then you can actually go up like this, kind of make it seem like this is the source of the water that is falling down. This is just a little extra detail. You know, every little thing you do when you're doing a big scale like this, every little thing you do is good. I mean, it adds that extra layer of detail. Okay, so one more side and that fountain will be considered done. That's pretty much all I'm going to do for this episode, guys. Just wanted to show you the roof bit that I've done, as well as show you what I was going to do for the tops of all the pillars. And I wanted to work on a little bit of the courtyard so that we can have a start out here. Next episode I'll probably show you some more of the roof finished, as well as hopefully that pathway will be finished, and I'll start working on this courtyard some more. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and please like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode of my Let's Build. See you later.